Welcome, everyone, to episode 51 of the Circle Back Podcast, the show where three great friends get together and just talk about video games. I'm Dan LaMarca. As always, I'm joined by Dan Dufrenoy.
Hello.
And Shelby White.
How you doing?
And boys, it has been a while since we've gathered here.
I missed you guys.
Yeah, even though you guys have seen an episode 2 weeks ago, you viewers out there, I mean.
It's been like months since we've seen each other.
Listeners.
Yeah, viewers and listeners. It's been about a month since we recorded. So we have a lot of games to talk about. We're just going to this episode is going to be mostly what we've been playing, catching up, stuff like that. So I will...
How do you want to do this? You want to do one game at a time?
I think we're just, one of us will just bring up a game and then we'll talk about it, whatever.
If we overlap, we overlap.
Yeah.
Have a nice little discussion.
So I will start by saying I've been playing this game called The Eternal Castle Remastered. Okay. So it's not a real remastered, it's a new game.
Oh, okay.
But
they just called it that?
They call it that because of the aesthetic.
Came out this year?
Yes, came out early January, like second week.
They make you feel like you missed out on it at some point. They're like, no, it's remastered.
It's remastered. Oh, no.
Yeah, exactly. But it is a interesting game because there aren't many games in the genre that this game falls into. Have you guys ever played Flashback or Another World?
No, I can't say
I have not.
Can't say I've even heard of those.
They're
games,
from early 90s, both of them, and it's basically they are animation so they're kind of like story-based games, but it's a side-scrolling platformer, but the platformer has like a lot of animation. You know how, like, do you know Dragon's Lair?
No.
I've heard of that game.
Okay, I don't know that either.
Well, anyway, basically, like, in order to run, you ever play A Boy and His Blob?
Oh, okay, yes. Okay, yes.
You know how you have to like speed up to run?
Thank you, yes.
You have to like you run and you like stop and you like slide. You can't like, it's not very precise. It's meant to be more like cool animations. This game, so Another World is a perfect example because that's really what this is going after. But it's like very long and extended animations just for the sake of how they look.
Okay.
And it has a really fucking cool aesthetic. It's like bright neon blue and pink. And, like, you can barely, like, it's almost like you can't really tell what's going on. It's just, like, cool colors and, like, but you're basically dropped on this world and you are, it has very vague objectives. There's no, like, menu system, really. It's just, like, you know, you have a gun, you can hit these guys. It's just a side-scrolling platform. But the real reason that it's cool is because those old games, Another World is, like, one of my... It's probably in like top 50 because I really, really like it. Oh, wow. Okay. But it's such a unique thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, Kojima gets a lot of credit for cutscenes in games, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, the idea of like this is like
making cinematic experiences.
Another World was like 3 or 4 years before, or 4 or 5 years before Metal Gear Solid, and it had like cutscenes in a similar vein where it was like really trying to be cinematic.
That's awesome. And
this game, like, just basically loved those two games, Another World and Flashback, and they were just like, well, let's make one of those, and it's really fucking cool. It's out on everything pretty much, I think. I think it's on PS4, Steam, Xbox. I hope I'm right about that. I have no idea, but it's a cool game. It's worth checking out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's nothing crazy. It's pretty short, but I enjoyed it, and definitely one of the coolest looking games I played.
That's cool, man. What's it called again?
The Eternal Castle Remastered.
The Eternal Castle Remastered. I'll have to look into that.
You're going to have to write that down.
The Eternal Castle Remastered.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, Dan, give me one game that you've been playing.
All right. Well, I kind of want to get this out of the way. I talked about this a while ago, but I have more solid feelings on it. I got Mario Party for Christmas, and I probably played, like, I want to say upwards of like 50 hours of it because I feel
That's
like
a lot of hours.
Psycho.
No, but not by myself. I think
I would hope not.
It just seems like everybody that's ever like come over in the past month has been wanting to play Mario Party, so I've played a lot of it. And at first, I was really enjoying it, like the first hour, and then I kind of realized I think it's just
not Mario Party 2.
Mario Party 2, Mario Party 3, Mario Party 4. Those games were where it's at. What I don't like about this game is the boards are super small. There's maybe only like 20 spaces a board. So it's totally possible to hit a dice block, get a star,
Go
the
all
star
the way around.
the star moves, and then you can get a star a second time. That's kind of what happens. It's kind of like the first person that gets the star is gonna get the next star, and then the next star, and then it's not very well crafted.
Sounds like Dan doesn't get the star very much, and he's kind of mad that everybody else gets 2 in a
sure,
row.
I'm
Sounds
just
like a
hating
sore
on everybody
loser to
else.
me.
Yeah. So I have been playing a lot of Mario Party and going through it and playing all the mini games, and even the mini games are kind of bland. And I just kind of decided that, I really wanted to love this game. I thought it was going to be like a hark back to its roots, and unfortunately, it's not. And I'm going to say Mario Party is one of my least favorite games from last year.
Oh. Should have been on the most disappointing list.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we could have talked about that because I was definitely very disappointed.
All right.
I'd say just go back to Mario Party 2 or 3 before.
Fair enough.
So that's my opinion on Mario Party.
And that was
Had to-
Super Mario Party.
If you feel like
Right?
playing Mario Party, just break out the N64.
Just do the original one.
basically.
That's where it's at. Or even the GameCube. I liked 4 and 5.
Is that what it's called? Super Mario Party, the new one?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just Mario Party.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
No,
Super Mario Party.
I think it's Super Mario Party.
You could be right.
All right. Well, that sounds like a real drag.
So you're welcome. I just had to get that out of the way. 'cause
Yeah,
I'm
Who
ex-
could have
I-
known?
I'm excited for every other game I got to
Yeah,
talk about.
everybody's so intrigued to
Yeah.
listen now.
So. Get it out of the way.
Shelby,
I'll
give me
get one out of the
yeah,
way
give me
as
one of the
well.
ones that you-
So I think I spoke about this before on the podcast. I finished the Spyro Reignited trilogy.
Oh, yeah?
Nice. All 3?
What'd you
It's
think?
Fantastic.
Did you platinum
It is-
them all?
I did not platinum them all, but because I moved on pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But I would definitely go back and do it because the first one, here's what I like about it, because the trophies are totally made up trophies. Like a lot of
Mhm.
them were skill points that you could have done in the original games,
Mm-hmm.
but now they just totally made stuff up and said like, oh, if you kill these 3 guys in a row or do something like that. And the trophies are really cool, really fun, not that hard to get. I completed the entirety of the first 2 games just playing them, like not all the trophies, but it tells you when you go up to the loading screen, oh yeah, you've 100% at this game, you've 120% at this game.
Nice.
Like you did all the extra stuff. And I actually never completed the 3rd game, I remember, because as I'm playing through it, there were aspects I was like, I don't remember this, I don't remember doing this, and I was like, oh yeah, because I never beat this game.
Mm.
And they're all very similar. They all have the exact same look, obviously, because they were all redone. But if you played it in the past, it was a nice blast from the past, and I loved it. It was absolutely done the way it should have been done.
Nice.
I like that
Nice,
remaster
easy
stuff.
3D.
Like really, it's not just graphics now. I feel like they actually like.
Oh yeah,
I feel like it's just like a new game. It's not, but like.
Well, there's one
Yeah.
game that definitely is.
Yeah.
And that's Resident Evil 2.
Let's talk about Resident
Yeah.
Evil 2.
Have you been playing it?
I have.
Oh. Shelby not playing it.
I'm not a Resident Evil player.
So, right away,
Mm-hmm.
I want to just say top level thoughts on it because I want to talk a lot about this game. I've beaten it.
Okay.
Top level thoughts. It is just like a amazingly crafted game.
The way I feel the same way about this as I felt like Shadow of the Colossus. Like you can only play this game this way now.
Well, yes, but further than Shadow of the Colossus, this game completely changed. And again, I want to talk in detail about this
Mhm.
game, but this is not how the original played.
No.
The original played
Was it-
like
yeah, the
one
one- yeah,
with
the
the
camera
camera
and,
angles and
Oh,
stuff.
I was going to ask about that because that's the one thing I was told, that now it's like a third person over the shoulder.
Now
right?
they literally,
it's like 4.
yeah, they literally took 4.
and made it
and-
with 2 story.
Well, more than that even. But what I'll say is like the thing I admire about this game and the reason I love this game is because it feels like a really well designed Metroid game. You know what I mean? Like it is so the way you explore the police station and like open up certain doors, get keys, solve puzzles, like it is a perfect loop of getting something whenever you think, okay, I went everywhere. And then the last place you go, you get something that opens up a new door. It is just like immaculate in that
Talk
way.
about scary.
Very scary.
Oh man.
It's it's hard for me to talk about this game without like gushing about it because I really, really,
Yeah.
really love it. There's plenty of bad stuff, and we'll get into it. But I just wanted to say off the bat, like this is up there with all the rest of the Resident Evil. Like this is, one of my favorite Resident Evil games.
Mhm.
Period. Like it's that good.
And you played the original, the second one.
Yeah,
Like the,
yeah. way back.
So I know the reason why it was such a big deal that they're remaking this one. I know, like in the Resident Evil canon, the second one is always held in high regard as like the fourth one. It's either that or the fourth one.
Yeah.
Now, did you love the second one just as much?
Like even back then, you're saying?
Even back then.
I have a fondness for it for sure, and I remembered a lot of the plot points and stuff. I didn't love it. The first one I really like fell in love with was the remake on GameCube. Like that's when I was like, oh, I really like this series. You know what I mean? Like I played 1, I played 2, I played like half of 3, never finished it. And the remake on GameCube, I was like, oh, I love this. Like this is awesome. And then I played 4, 3 years later, and was like, oh, I really, really love this, you know? And then now playing this, after playing 7 and then this, because this game literally it's a story of 2 with the exploration and, like, puzzle solving of 1 or 7, like the beginning of 7 at least, where it's like, it really does such a good job at taking everything you like from each of the games and incorporating them into this one game. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
What do you think about it in general?
I love it. And you know what I like even more? So a buddy of mine who actually I played it with, he's played all the Resident Evil games. I think Nemesis is actually like his favorite. And he's always telling me, oh, you got to play this, you got to play this, you got to play this. He got it the day it came out. I went over. It was only like 5-6 hours. I mean, we got through.
Oh, you played the whole thing?
We played Leon's story all the way through. And then what I really appreciated was like after that, like I feel like, for a $60 game, you can be like, well, the content is, not as lengthy, but there's so much more to do. Like,
was it it's a full $60 game?
Yes.
All right.
But the reason for that is because they did build it from the ground up. It is a new game. Like when we talk game of the year, this can be one of the game of the year. It is.
Oh,
not,
really? Okay.
This is not this is not like a remaster. This is a completely new game. They changed a lot of stuff. They changed some serious mechanics. They changed, obviously, the perspective, graphical update, but they actually changed many mechanics in this game. I'm sure your friend who loves these games was like, this is basically a new game.
That's the thing. So he loved the second one like to death. I think he liked the second more than he liked the fourth one. And he's a little bit older than me, so he like grew up with them when they came out. And it was cool to experience it with him. I wonder if that kind of like skewed my viewpoint a little, because just seeing how, like, I guess I've never been that huge a Resident Evil fan. I really like 4. I was never like a big fan.
Right.
I didn't even pick up 7. I wasn't like that interested in the Resident Evil games, but seeing him like being so excited about this like got me like excited, and every like all these like little things that he was able to pick up, like that made it even more like special for me. I really think it was fantastic, and even as someone that's not a big fan of the series, playing this was fantastic, and it was a great experience. It was scary. Jeez.
Yeah, it really is. The thing I will say is, like most horror games, and especially most Resident Evil games, as you go on through the story, they kind of become a little less scary and a little more actiony. And this game suffers from that as well. Like the final boss and like a couple of the bosses, it's like, this isn't really why I'm here,
My favorite was like when you're first like in the police station and you're crawling, you have to go, you lift like the steel door or whatever, and you got to go on, where there's like vending machines and stuff, and it's just dark, and you just like, people are just like, popping out, there's people outside windows, and like it's creepy and scary.
Yeah, so things I want to definitely touch on is the map system in this game is so brilliant. Like, you open up the map, if the room you're in is blue, that means you've collected everything there is to collect in that room.
Oh, that's so nice.
If it's red, that means you missed something. And what it will also do is, if you like pan the camera across the room and your camera has seen that there's a box of ammo, but you haven't seen it, it'll mark on your map box of ammo, like what it is. This game does, that's what I'm saying. The care and love put into this thing, that's only one example, and I could name a bunch where it's like they really, really get like what they needed to do and how to make a game that we would love today. Oh man, they did such a good job.
It really is. And what I really, my favorite thing about the whole thing, and really why I love 4 so much too, and I'm not sure if it was the way in the second game, the original, I love, like, and I know for a lot of people this might be an annoyance, but like when you're low on ammo or like you don't have any ammo and you gotta like maneuver what you have like 7 zombies coming after you and you gotta maneuver.
So
like
good.
I like that stuff, and that's what I really liked about 4 was when you'd have like 7 guys coming after you, but you only had like 3 bullets, and you gotta like, I want to go on a ladder and just swipe them when they like come out, like things like that. And
yeah, they do such a good job.
And Resident Evil 2 really hits that one.
Yeah,
hits that one home. I enjoy it.
I'll also say the whole Mr. X thing. The first time you see him, how
gosh,
scary is that? When you're walking, I'm not gonna spoil I'm not gonna spoil anything really. But you walk past something and he lifts an object up and you just see him for the first time and you're just like, holy shit. Like you just have no idea that this was even in the game because it wasn't in the
original.
Not at all.
That's a new
Him
thing.
as a character was not in the original?
Yeah, this was not a thing.
Oh, shit.
That's what I'm telling you. This is a new game. That's what I'm trying to explain. They took the story, for the most part. They still did change a couple things in the story. But they took the main story and made a new game with it.
Wasn't the story like Leon was on a bender and,
There's a lot of problems with Resident Evil to begin with, and I think there's even problems in this game. Like,
you mean those Mila Jovovich movies? Those are perfect.
God damn it. But even, you experienced, you played through the Leon campaign, so you saw Ada, and it's like that whole thing is just like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. This is not... There are issues, but I'm saying as a game and as a, like, it is just so well crafted.
Yeah.
There's a part, so you go to different areas in this game. It's not just in the police station, right? So when you go to the second area, if you do a certain thing, you unlock this elevator that takes you to the basement of the police station. And it's all interconnected. And then it's like, that's what I'm saying. It just boggles my mind. This game reminds me of like Dark Souls, like real Dark Souls, where it's like you realize they're interconnected and you're like, what the fuck?
It's like one big
how
world.
did that happen? You know what I mean? Like, they do such an excellent, it is like a masterfully crafted game, and I love it so much.
Yeah, it really is fantastic. It was like a really nice, especially for someone, I was always a Silent Hill guy, and to just, never play Resident Evil 2, but then have an experience to not only play 2, but something so much better.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And the reason I'm glad that they did it like this is because they made a new excellent game, but if you want the old Resident Evil 2, you can go back and play that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I appreciate what they did, because we do talk about Shadow of the Colossus as being like one of the best remasters ever, because it is, but that is the same game, just updated.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I thought that was great. Because it is.
Well, it is. Yeah. But this does something totally different, where it's like, I don't want to just be a really good remaster. I'm making a new game.
I'm going to add stuff to it.
I'm adding a ton of shit. I'm changing stuff. The way, like, there's just...
I think that camera stuff you're just talking about, like, or the map system, I think, is the perfect way to do it, where the original game was that one single camera. So you saw the whole room from the only perspective you were going to see it, So now where you have the ability to change your camera around, where you could totally miss stuff.
Yeah, it's a brand new game.
Those jump scares are a little bit more
perfect. I
unexpected.
did see, the only thing I saw, I didn't know Mr. X was a new character, but I saw something on YouTube where somebody cut it and made it Mr. X going to give it to you.
Oh,
and it was remarkable. It was so funny.
Good. The last thing I want to say is, in the same vein of the map system that I was talking about, there's something so you're like Resident Evil games, you're collecting items that, like, you're getting a valve or like a turn handle that you put into a door and turn it, and it works on a couple different doors throughout the world, right? So in this game, when you have opened every door you can open with an item, whether it's a key or whatever, the item in your inventory gets a little red check mark, and that means you are done. You can discard this item. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
And that's really helpful.
But that's what I'm trying to say is, like,
because then you got to clear a room up.
You only have so many slots.
Yeah.
So.
They thought of everything. That's what I'm saying. Like, when you're thinking about this game, it's just so, like, they thought of everything and they did it well. Like, it's amazing.
It really is fantastic.
Yeah,
it's a really fantastic experience and a real good kickoff.
I think that's good to hear for future remasters like this.
So not only
or remakes, I should say.
Yeah.
Like this.
What I'm hopeful for is, are they going to do this for 3, or are they going to take this idea and make 8 like this? you know.
Oh, right, yeah.
Either way, I'm happy because I love. So, like, the good things that they did in 7, they ran with in 2. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They cut the bullshit for the most part. Like, you know, I know you guys didn't play 7, but the first part of 7, when you're in the mansion, it is very Resident Evil. It's Resident Evil 1. It feels a lot like being in the police station of 2. But then you go out elsewhere, and it's not as good. This game did a good job of the other 2 places you do go are still interesting and scary and have their own things. Even if they're maybe not as effective as a police station, they're still good.
Right.
And if they can take those ideas and make a new game out of it, whew,
That'd be awesome. Or
That'd be
Nemesis,
cool.
because I'd love to play Nemesis. Like, you know, that'd be cool.
Well, which ones?
well, 3 has Nemesis. So
Right, that's
yeah,
what I'm saying.
yeah.
Like,
When
if
did they start the over-the-shoulder?
That was 4.
That was
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
Alright, so the first 3 have the. Oh, I doubt they're gonna go back to 1 after remaking
Yeah.
2.
No, they're not. Because they put out the GameCube remake of 1 on PS4 just like a year or 2 ago.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and that was good. I enjoyed that a lot.
That's an excellent game. That's what I'm saying. I don't think 1 needs this treatment
Yeah.
because that remake is really, really
I really
good.
enjoyed it, even though there's a lot of like convoluted like stuff. Like, you know, there's a lot of. But I enjoyed it.
That's
I enjoyed,
Resident Evil.
Yeah,
Anyway,
no, I
you know?
enjoyed the first game definitely. And I enjoyed this game
Yeah.
as well.
So-
I think I'm a Resident Evil fan now.
Nice.
I'm still a Silent Hill.
It was
guy,
ruined
though.
for me as a
Which one
child. I was 9 years old, 10 years old. My grandfather locked me in a room,
Oh God.
turned the lights off, and said, "Go ahead, go play Resident Evil."
Jeez.
Oh God, that's
and that was
horrible.
it. Well, you know what it was? I was probably at that age where I was bugging him, and I was just like, I want to play, you
Yeah.
know, like. And then he's like, "Fine, you want to play? Here you go. Here's a dark room. Go play Resident Evil by yourself." And
That's
that
funny.
ruined it for me as a kid. So
Oh man.
So that was Resident Evil 2 remake. I think they just call it Resident Evil 2, right?
That's it.
yeah, right. I don't think they added.
So Resident Evil 2, $60 out on PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Definitely would recommend it, even for people that aren't fans. It is scary though. If you don't like scary games, don't play it.
It's so good.
I don't like scary games.
I was gonna say.
But-
So then, why did you play it?
You know, my buddy forced me. He locked me in a dark room and told me to.
That's how it goes.
Plus, when you're with somebody else, it's much less scary.
Oh yeah, that's true. I mean, no, it still scared me though. It was.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not scary, but it helps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. I definitely want to talk about specific series of games that I have been playing.
Okay.
These are older games. Kentucky Route Zero. Have you guys heard of Kentucky Route Zero?
No, you're throwing these
at
obscure.
So Kentucky Route Zero is, you know how Dan, you like to say that Metal Gear Solid, not playing the Metal Gear Solid games is like your
A dent in my armor.
yeah.
But now I don't have to say that anymore.
So for me, Kentucky Route Zero, it has always been that because this game. So the first episode, it's split up into 5 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 1 came out in 2012, and it was like revolutionary in that it was a really it was basically like we wouldn't have Night in the Woods without Kentucky Route Zero.
Okay.
Now this game isn't lighthearted in the same way where it's like funny dialogue and whatever. This game is a like magical realist, like darker story about like basically about interpersonal relationships and stuff like that. But it is like a how do I explain it? So it's not David Lynch, but it has Lynchian stuff. It's more like Marquez. You know Gabriel Garcia Marquez or no?
No, can't say.
Like
I
Love of the
David
Time
Lynch.
of Cholera.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So it's magical realist in that way where it's like absurd things happen and nobody questions them, right? So like
It's like
a
if you open
giant
up a
bird.
refrigerator and there's a head in there,
Well, it's more like
and you're just like, oh, where's the pickles?
not really, not necessarily that way. More like there's a giant bird that moves people's houses in this game, but
Okay.
it's not talked about in a weird way, and it's a normal world. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just an example of what I'm trying to say. Is like weird things happen, and it's like disturbing, but not. It's more like just weird. You know what I mean? Almost in like a cosmic horror kind of way. You know what I'm saying?
So the stork brings whatever you want, not just babies. In this one.
Exactly.
You want to buy a new house? Here comes the stork.
But basically, so it's broken up into 5 episodes. Episode 5 still is not out. It's due out early this year, they've said.
Oh wow.
So
It's been going.
it's been going for a long
7
time.
years?
Yeah. So basically, what I did was like I've had this game for a long time. I started episode 1 way back when it came out in 2012, but I never got back to it. I only played like half of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I really need to sit down and do this. I'm on winter break. Let me do this. So it's basically like, I'm not going to talk about any plot points really, but the whole idea is so you're this trucker and you stop at a gas station and you're like, hey, you ask the guy there, hey, I need to get to this address. Do you know how I get there? And the guy's like, huh. He's like, I think you're going to have to take the 0. And you're basically like, that's not on the map. It's not a real road. I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, you'll understand, like I said, David Lynch-esque, where it's like they're kind of leading you. This is like a very strange world, pretty much. And so you go down. He's like, go into the basement and get me this, and I'll help you out or whatever. And you go in the basement, and you hear people talking, but then you turn on the lights and nobody's there. So you're starting to think like, okay, maybe there are like different worlds like overlapping each other. And you're at like certain nexus points, you can like hear the other world and what's going on.
Interesting.
But it plays with this idea without explicitly telling you anything. And the thing that this game does well, and the thing that I would say is so the dialogue alone should be enough for me to say like, you need to play this game. Like it's an excellent, excellent game, but it is a point and click adventure game basically.
Okay.
You do click on the ground to like have your guy walk. It's almost like a Broken Age style where it's like, you still have to walk and do things. It's not just a clicking on a screen. But it's all about the story, narrative, dialogue, which I know is your type of thing.
For sure.
But they're coming out with a Switch version
No way.
At the release of episode 5. That's going to have all 5 episodes and all the interludes.
Oh, that's great.
Now, the interludes is where this becomes a more transcendent thing than just a really well-written indie game, right? So the thing, it starts off like episode 1 is like, okay, I see what they're doing. It's really well-written, but I don't know if it's really that great. This was really hyped up for me, right? Play episode 2, I'm like, okay, we're getting there. Then there's interludes between each episode. And the one that really got me was between episode 3 and 4. The interlude is this webpage and they're all like separate executables, these interludes, right? So the one between 3 and 4 is this webpage that's like, it's basically like, here's a number for like a tour guide of this river or whatever, right? So you see a phone number, you're like, let me call it. You call it in real life.
Your real life phone.
Yeah. You call it, and it's like a recorded thing, and you go through the different prompts, and it's like telling you things about the in-game world. And it's really creepy and weird, and that's why I'm saying,
oh
like,
my gosh.
It goes from, like, it progressively becomes more and more strange and interesting as you go on, and it does some really, really, really cool stuff like that. The one between 2 and 3 is like a stage play, but then like you're realizing like you're in the middle of it, like you're almost like sitting as a character, and you like once you realize like you're almost looking at a scene like you normally would in the game, and then you like turn around and there's an audience behind you, and you're like, what's going on? Like that's what without like going through the beats and being like, isn't that really cool? Yeah. Like it's really fucking good.
That's cool.
And the one between 4 and 5 is a full motion video of like actual actors. Like you're watching a video of actors playing the characters that you've been playing in the game, and it's this whole thing, and it's just fucking fantastic.
Wow! And you said when the 5th one comes out, they're gonna put this.
All the interludes are gonna be on the Switch.
Cool.
And I think it's also on PS4 and Xbox. It's like called Kentucky Route Zero TV edition or something. But yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to episode 5. But I would really say, if you have not done it already, get it on whatever when this package comes out. Just get it and fucking play it.
That's
it is
awesome.
So good.
Sick. What's it called? Incredible. Kentucky Fried Zero.
Kentucky
'Cause
Route Zero.
I know.
Kentucky Fried Movie?
I had to, yeah. Oh my gosh. I had to.
God damn it. All right.
Ever since you started talking about that, it's been in his eyes.
I've been waiting for the moment.
I'm going to wait for this joke.
Son of a bitch.
I'm going to wait to say it.
All right. Shelby, give me a game that you've been playing.
All right, so...
Oh, I'm sorry, real quick. Kentucky Route Zero right now is only on Steam. When this edition comes out with all 5 episodes, it will be on...
Multi-platform.
All consoles, yeah.
Gotcha.
Cool. All right, go ahead.
All right, so this game, The Gardens Between, have you played it yet?
I haven't played it. I know some people were saying that we should have played it before Game of the Year because it's really cool.
Well, here's how I heard about it is I was watching other Game of the Years and stuff like that, and I saw this game repetitively, and I was like, all right, well, let me check it out. And it was on Game Pass, so I went and I grabbed it, and it's so good.
Oh, it's on Game Pass?
It's on Game Pass.
Oh, cool.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And it's like a tiny little game. I think it took like 5 hours to get through. Nice little story about 2 neighbors who obviously the gardens between them are the only thing that separate their 2 houses in like a city setting. And it's kind of just goes through without any dialogue or anything like that. The story of how they grew up and became friends with each other, just a boy and a girl. And they put you down, and it's kind of like a time shifting puzzle platformer, sort of.
It's like a rewind, fast forward.
Yeah, exactly. Like all you can do is move forward, which moves time forward, move backwards, which moves time backwards, and then you have an action button. So you have to figure out how to get this light from a lantern to the top of the mountain, but the mountain like represents a certain thing that the 2 of them did together. You know, so for one of them, as an example, they were like hanging out playing with a radio. So like the whole thing is this giant radio and stuff like that. And you're turning knobs and stuff. Only one character has the lantern and the other character does some of the actions.
Gotcha.
So that's where the puzzle aspect comes into it. And it's really, really unique. And I do wish we played it before Game of the Year because it's that good. It's really good.
Where would it land on your? I'm curious, like your top 10 list. Would it land on your top 10?
I don't know. You know what? It might have.
Really?
It could have been close. I liked it almost as much as I liked Minute.
Okay.
Like it was. I really just because the story they tell without having any dialogue and the fact that it's like the first couple of levels you get through and you're like, all right, this is super, super easy. And then you get to a couple levels you're like, oh, I got to backtrack. And you're like, oh, man. And then it gets to a level later on that's like much bigger than the rest of them have been. There's one in particular where they were kind of digging up stuff in the backyard. So the level is built with this giant dinosaur skeleton, and it breaks down and rebuilds itself as you're doing the time map stuff.
Cool.
And you have to figure out a way to like get up on the bones or let them fall, and then you have to figure out another way to get around it. It's unique. That level was really cool. That was when I kind of was like, oh, this is I like this game a lot.
So I've seen like the first 20 minutes to a half hour just like on a Giant Bomb quick look. But, I was intrigued by it, and I had heard really good things, so I was thinking about checking it out, but I was kind of like, oh, I get the gist of it, whatever. But it's really good.
It's really good because you kind of feel for the characters at the same time, and then you get to the end, and I don't want to spoil anything, but it's a good game. I like it a lot.
So that's The Gardens Between.
The Gardens Between, yeah.
That is on everything, I believe. I think it's even on Switch.
Cool.
But
I do think it just came
it's
to
on
Switch.
It's on Game Pass.
I played it on Xbox, yeah.
So check that out. Did you ever get back to any of the other Game Pass games?
I did not. I actually haven't played anything.
No Ashen, no Mutant Year Zero.
I haven't touched
No Below. Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, give me a game that you've been playing, bud.
So I actually, for the past month, for Christmas I got Bloodborne's one of my favorite games of all time. Probably top 20. I love that game to death. So for Christmas, my sister got me the Old Hunters DLC. So I've been playing through Bloodborne on New Game Plus and the DLC on New Game Plus.
Nice.
Which, if anybody knows, the DLC is already harder than the game. So playing it on New Game Plus was a challenge.
Masochistic.
But I'll have you know, I beat it, and I beat the game again.
Wow.
And it was amazing.
You went through a whole New Game Plus?
Whole New Game Plus. I beat the whole game. I did it. And I beat Gehrman and Moon Presence, no help.
Wow, Dan, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Did you do the the mushroom men that I was talking about last time that you didn't?
Yes, I did. I made
You missed
sure.
them the first time,
I
right?
made sure there's a few bosses there's optional bosses that you can miss, and I made sure
Ebritas?
that like,
To go
yeah,
back and
oh
get
my
them.
gosh, yeah, and
Really
the
hard.
dungeon
Probably
chiefs
one of the
always,
hardest.
Yeah,
The one downstairs in the
yeah.
water,
Oh my gosh,
the
terrible.
little light bit of water at the bottom,
Mhm.
right? Oh man, that's
One of the
tough
hardest. Yeah.
That was a
Well,
tough one.
so I really got into the lore of it, and like that was what's so cool about it is that was like the great one that
Yeah.
like didn't get to ascend,
Yeah.
and that's what started everything. Where they started like, oh well, this blood will make us be like a great one, and that would cause the infection and the plague and all that stuff. Yeah, Abritas was tough.
Yeah.
Lawrence was tough. I think the two hardest, and they're both DLC was oh wait, who was the first boss in the DLC? The big horse looking. Oh, what was the? Not Lawrence.
I never played the DLC.
Okay, it was the first Vicar. What was his?
Epona.
Vicar Amelia,
Not Vic. No.
the first Vicar.
There's Lawrence, who was just like Vicar Amelia, and then there was. I don't remember. I gotta have to look
So
this up
alright.
afterwards. But an Orphan of Kaz was really, really tough. If
Yeah, I've
anybody-
heard, yeah.
he's terrible. It took me a month just to beat him. I'm not even kidding. And it was really just like luck.
Jesus.
You just keep playing it and you die, and then you get frustrated and you turn it off. And then I got actually no kidding. It was on like Friday or Saturday. I just got lucky and I just beat him. And then I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go fight Murgo, the wet nurse, then Gehrman, Moon Presence, beat the game again. But I love it so
Oh,
much.
Such a good game.
I love it. Just like the whole aesthetic and like the environmental storytelling, like it's just perfect. And
Cool.
I beat Bloodborne on New
Nice,
Game
dude.
plus the old Hunters. It was
Very
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, it was really good. I'm glad I'm done for Bloodborne for a while though.
I would think so.
I put it back on
Now-
the shelf.
now
I
it's
hope
gonna be
Bloodborne
nice.
2 gets announced like next
Yeah, I
week.
know, right?
Well, it's gonna be nice playing Sekiro because it's gonna scratch that itch without being too much of the same.
Exactly.
You know? Hopefully.
Exactly. I hope so. I'm excited.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
That's that.
Cool. I have also been playing an older game, but it just came out to Switch. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe.
Oh, I was gonna pick this up for my siblings, and then how do you feel about it?
So I remember playing it when I got it on the Wii U.
Yeah.
It is the thing about these games is they're still 2D side-scrolling Mario games, so they're great.
Yeah.
But I just don't like the art style of the new games. I really don't. It's like muddy, and I'm not a fan.
Is it
So-
is the Luigi stuff added to this one?
Yes.
Oh, it is. All right.
Yeah, it's in it. But what I would say is it's really fun to play. It's a really it's a first party. It's a Mario game. It's great. Like if you're like itching to play a 2D side-scrolling Mario game, it's excellent. So don't have too much to say about that. It's the same game it was on Wii U. They added a couple little things. They added Nabbit as a playable character,
Oh, okay.
and he's a real prick. But yeah, that's about it on New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. That's a full price game for Switch.
Nice. So I have a game that I want to talk a little bit about, and because I've gone back, and I usually do this in the beginning of the year. I always go back and play like old games because nothing's usually out right away. But and I know we've touched on this, and myself included, being on the hatred side, but Kingdom Hearts. I went back
Okay.
and with the hype of Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out, I'm like, why? I wanted to know why people love these games so much. Because also a friend of mine at work, he went out, pre-ordered Kingdom Hearts 3. He doesn't even have a PlayStation or anything. He was like, oh, I'm going to get that later in the week because he just wanted to have the game. He loves it so much.
Wow. Okay.
So I got that pack.
Dedication.
I got the pack, the Story So Far pack, which, by the way, I don't understand. The Story So Far pack, there was only one left. It was $35. It comes with all the games. The one game alone costs like $40 on PlayStation Store. So
Why is it so cheap?
I don't know. I don't know.
Wait a
I
second.
feel like I got away with
What
something.
does it include?
Everything.
Like all the
Everything?
Everything.
all the games like 1 and 2, 2.7, 8,
but
5, 6.
1.5, which is or the final
That's
mix
the
of one.
redo. Yeah,
It's the final mix of one.
Okay.
Recode. I don't know the names of all of them, but everything that they did. It's everything. Like it's 2 discs. The first disc has 1 recoded, 2, and the final versions of them. The 358 divided by 2.
Right.
And then anything, any canon that was kind of like just lore or something that you could do, it's all in there.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it's crazy. So I played through 1, which I had played as a kid but never finished. And now I realize why, because the end of this game, holy shit. Like, it was just like a Disney story at first, and then it kicks your fucking ass at the end. Because
if the combat was good, it might be fun, right?
The combat here's what. Listen, I enjoyed this game. I will say I enjoyed this game, but there's a lot of stuff in it that is so dumb and so bad.
That opening island is bad.
It's the worst opening to a game I've ever played in my life, and going through it for a second time was treacherous. Like, it was painful. It is so dumb. It makes no sense. They give you these little things like go collect mushrooms and crap. I know how to play an RPG. I know I need to collect items. You don't have to shove it in my face. It was pretty funny because my only Final Fantasy game that I've ever played was Final Fantasy X, and the island is supposed to be Final Fantasy X island, kind of, because the first characters you meet are Titus, Waka, and the girl with pigtails. I don't know her name. And but you get through that. And, well, in the beginning of the game too, they give you that little option. You pick whether or not you want to be a defense person, an attack person, or a magic person, which that's a pretty normal thing. But
it comes back to bite you later in the game, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's like, because it depends. Well, I always pick attack, and then
I heard if you pick shield, the end of the game is like almost impossible.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm an attack first all the way. Like, that's just how I am. And I know that Goofy dons the shield and Donald is magic. So I was like, well, I'm not going to be either of those two. That wouldn't make any sense. So I get through the game, and it is a nice nod to these Disney stories. There's the main plot of the game, and then you just have these mini worlds, which are the Disney worlds, like Agrabah, and I think the first one you go to is Wonderland, and they have their own little subplot. So that's it. There's it's giant plot, bunch of subplots, and you just get through it. The jumping in this game is the most horrendous thing ever. It's so uncontrollable. It's so stupid. He doesn't do anything normal. Some latches you can attach to, some you don't, so it's completely inconsistent. I hated it so much. And then but I do like the attacking thing, because it's almost like Ni no Kuni 2 or Dark Cloud, where this battle starts and you can do whatever you need to do, cast your magic, do your stuff, or you could just sit there and attack and dodge, and like it's real time being able to do it, not like the Final Fantasy where it's attack one at a time stuff. So I do like the combat better in that vein, but whatever. You go through the boring stories of each thing. Some of them are cool though. Like Nightmare Before Christmas was a really cool world to explore, because you get to explore these worlds that you only see in the movies, and delve in with the characters. And each world kind of has its same story arc as the movies.
Yeah,
like
it's similar, right? It's
like
almost,
Boogeyman's the monster, but they kind of just add the Heartless, which are the enemies. Right. And they make that into each of them. So like Jafar in Agrabah has the Heartless and yada yada. Maleficent is kind of the big baddie of the game. But you get through it, and then you get towards the end of the game, and that's where it gets like punishing. Like it really becomes a game where if you weren't paying attention and upgrading the way you needed to upgrade, and like giving certain spells to Donald and Goofy, and like you can manually do like, do you want Donald to use health frequently, not so frequently, or barely ever? If you don't do those correctly and like know what you're doing, you're gonna get your ass kicked at the end of the game.
That sounds so annoying.
You know what? It was such a difficulty spike, but then it made me go, all right, well, this isn't just a dumb Disney game, you know? It made me go, oh, finally, you know, like now I can learn how to play without breezing through this. Yeah. And the other thing I'm going to yell about is this gummy ship system is the worst. It makes no sense. They give you this whole customization of gummy ship stuff. You don't even have to do it. I never did it once. You know, like they have good DNA in the game. Like if they made that an aspect that you had to upgrade the ship and it was worth it, then yeah, that would be super cool. But it wasn't, and it was dumb. Regardless, I played through it. The ending is really good, really hard.
So you ended up beating
I beat it. I beat the first one, which I had never done in the past. I beat the first one.
Round of applause.
And then I went to the second game, recoded. I think it's recoded. I hate it.
So that's not 2. That's like a
No, it's in between. Well, you know what it was? It was 1 and 2 were the console games, and then Recoded came out in between them, but it was a Game Boy Advance game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But they did, like Resident Evil 2, built it from the ground up. Like, they made it look like 1 and 2. When it was a Game Boy Advance, like, you were a little sprite and stuff like that. It's the same sort of combat. The combat looks the same. The story picks up right from where you ended at 1.
Okay.
But you have a card system now. So you collect cards, and that's your attack. You know, like you have numbers on the cards, and if your number is higher than the other person's number, you can attack them, or the card breaks and you guys go off. So it's a different system. I'm starting to get used to it. I really, really hated it at first. And then I played through like an hour or 2 of it, and I'm getting better at it. But
so what's your end goal? Are you gonna play through all these games and then play 3?
I want to play through, at least get through 2 and see if I'm interested enough to play through 3.
Well,
because if they fix everything that I hated about 1 and make it a little bit better in 2, then I might be intrigued to go on.
Gotcha.
So, I'm no expert, but I hear that you got to play a couple of them specifically for the story. If you want to play 3, you got to play Dream Drop Distance. You got to play,
which was nice about this story so far, Pack. You know?
Right.
And
so
I will
that's
say,
what I'm saying. I think from what I know that it would be a bad idea to go 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
because that's a friend of mine that was saying he played 1, then 2, and you get even 1 through 2. If you don't play the recoded one,
you don't know what's going on.
There's a bunch of characters you have no idea who the hell they are.
Yeah.
Like, it literally picks up right after 1 and goes right into 2. And that's 2 different I know it's Game Boy Advance, but a lot of people aren't going 1, 2.
Well,
I needed to do something in between. That's a total. That's
the problem with the series is there's one that's only on PSP. There's one that's only on 3DS. There's one that it's hard.
The way they did it. The way they did it is atrocious.
Yeah,
like it's absolutely bad. The names of the games are the worst. The worst. But you know what? I'm happy I picked up this story so far thing because it makes it easier, I guess.
Gotcha. What was that? I'm sorry. What was that for? What system was the story?
I have PS4.
Oh, it's on the PS4.
Yeah.
So it has all those.
So
games,
it looks pretty good. It has every game. Even one of them, I think, it's not even a game. It's just like a little movie that they use to tell you.
Point 2?
Yeah, exactly.
It's called Point 2. I think.
Yeah, and they just use it to tell you the story. Or continue the story without playing the game.
Incomprehensible.
I heard that 3 is pretty good if you're a fan.
I heard 3 is pretty good, so that's why I wanted to know. Like, I heard it was good. It looks just like the movies. You look at this Frozen World, this Tangled World. So that's my rant on Kingdom Hearts. I'm going to continue to play it.
Yeah, keep us posted, man.
But
I like having one of us play it, and I'm Godspeed. I'm glad it's not me. I'll tell you that.
Because it's ugh.
Yeah, those are my feelings towards the first 2.
But you know what? I can't even, because what did the game come out in 2004? So it's like some of the mechanics.
Not even, yeah.
That's true.
That it's like, I get it. Like I'm getting mad about this stuff that it's not clean and polished. It's a 15-year-old game.
Yeah,
I think you meant to say simple and clean.
Yeah,
that's what you meant.
that's the music in it.
That's the name of that stupid song.
That's the name of the song.
Simple and clean. That's what it's called.
It's not a good song.
Dan didn't like that one. All right. So that was Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah,
is that what that
Kingdom
was?
Hearts 1.
Okay.
But I mean, not being a Final Fantasy guy, they do add all those. Sid is a normal character. Aerith, I guess.
Okay.
Cloud is in it.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I will say that I liked is you do kind of grind through the game. Like all RPGs, you got to grind if you want to get better.
Mm-hmm.
And they give you the Hercules level. It's just, you go there and it's just tournaments. Yeah, the Coliseum. And it kind of eases that towards, like, I went to the end of the game, started the end boss, got annihilated by him. And then I was like, well, I haven't been grinding.
Gotta go to the
hard.
Coliseum.
I went to the Coliseum and just did it over and over and over. And like you get new awards and stuff like that. And it's like without having to go back through every level like you would in a normal game, it gives you one spot to go and do it. And I'm
That's
like,
pretty
all
good.
right, that was the 1+ to its many minuses in my opinion.
I don't know. It's interesting because so many people love these games.
I'm surprised you haven't played these games.
I have. I played the first.
Oh,
two.
you did?
Yeah, back in the day. And I don't know. I just was never.
Yeah, it's just
because I love Final Fantasy. I love Disney. It seemed perfect, and I think it just. I shouldn't say this because I love Metal Gear Solid, and Metal Gear Solid is almost as convoluted as they come, but I don't know.
Here's, like I said, I think the blueprint for a great game is in there, and one just didn't hit it for me. So I'm hoping it gets better.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious to hear the rest of your thoughts here.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. I will talk again. I'll talk. Well, I guess we'll do. So I'll talk briefly. I played more Hades.
Okay.
The Supergiant game. That's only on the Epic Store right now. It's really good. It's really, really fun. I enjoy it a lot. I don't have too much to say about it because I kind of got to a point where I was like, I played a few hours, and I said to myself, I think I'm done until it comes out. Like, I know I like this. I know I'm into it. The characters are really fun and interesting. The dialogue's great, just like any Supergiant game. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of all in. So I'm like, well, I'm just done until the full game comes out.
It's a roguelike, you said. It's
a roguelike, but it's story based.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you get to the point where it's like, okay, I'm glad that you're in early access so that people can see what it is. They can see the new items that you add and stuff like that. But I kind of want to experience it when it's fully out. Yeah. So that's Hades for me right now. I also want to talk about, I don't know if you've been playing it or not, but I've been playing Pikuniku.
Yes, I beat it.
Pikuniku?
Yeah.
Is it Pikuniku or Pikuniku?
How did I spell it on here?
Well, I know how it's spelled, but I don't know how it's pronounced.
Pikuniku?
Pikuniku?
Yeah, sounds good.
Pikuniku. So I am on the final area. I haven't beaten it.
Okay.
I like this game a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love it, though.
That's the problem. After coming off Wandersong and wanting it to be Wandersong.
But that's exactly what it is. It's going for those same vibes of these games that me and Dan talk about way too much, and you guys probably are over that we talk about it. But Wandersong and Night in the Woods. It's like this game has that DNA, but it's just not as successful in the end, in my opinion.
I'm happy. Did you see when they did like the Nintendo Indies thing? Wandersong was on there.
Yeah.
Oh,
they
awesome.
did like a Nintendo Indies shout out, and it was on there.
Good.
So I figure you guys would like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for people that don't know, Pikuniku is it's a side-scrolling platformer, but it's more of an adventure game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're going to different characters, doing little quests for them, and getting things that allow you to progress to the next world. Right? It essentially is like an anti-capitalist, pro-anarchist agenda.
All right, because you have the main guy. He's like, what he does is
what is his name? Do you remember?
I don't know. He's this pink blob with a hat.
But it's like Mr. something, like Mr.
Oh, Mr. Smile or something like that, or
yeah, something.
Mr.
So funny.
Smile.
No, I don't know. It's something.
I gotta look it up. You go ahead. Go ahead and talk.
But what he does is he like there's like this world and there's maybe 3 areas or 4 areas. And what he does is he takes all their resources, but nobody questions it because he just throws them money, so they're happy. But once they realize that, all right, we have all the money, but now we don't have trees or we don't have,
Mr. Sunshine.
Mr. Sunshine.
Oh, even better.
But it's so good because that's the whole point. It's he's so ridiculous.
Yeah. And but anyway, so you just go through, you traverse these worlds, and what I did like about it, what hooked me from the beginning is you're this red blob-looking guy, and you wake up in a cave, and when you come out of the cave, everybody's afraid of you because they've been talking about this monster in the cave.
Yeah, it's like been passed down for generations, that this like story of this monster that lives in the cave and he'll come out and everything. So the whole town is like predicated on, when this monster comes out, we got to stop him.
Right.
So they like have defenses ready and stuff, and like, you're not a fucking monster. Someone like
exactly.
Just
and I think that dialogue is probably out of the whole game. I think that's probably my favorite out of the whole game. That sort of touching on like prejudice and things like that. And then I kind of feel like the game peters off after that. I enjoy it very much.
The thing that I would say, I know you didn't play Donut County, but I would say this is more in line with Donut County rather than Wandersong and Night in the Woods. You know what I'm saying? Where it doesn't necessarily have the substance. It's a little more shallow in it. Like, it's going for the same things, but it's a little more shallow, not as deep as something like a Wandersong or a Night in the Woods. Yeah. That's what I would say.
And I mean, I like it, and it's got a good story and the characters that you meet. Just sort of things that you got to do, like oh, you got to get into a club, so make sure you
Yeah.
you look snazzy
Get
and
the
like
right
get the
item.
right sunglasses to get in, things like that.
Yeah.
So like it's
fun-
charming.
Yeah, it is charming. It's funny. It's well written. It's not like I like this game. I'm not
Mhm.
saying this is a bad
No,
game.
I like it too, definitely.
But I was hoping I was gonna love it.
I was hoping it'd be like a Wander Song,
Yeah.
a Night of the Woods sort of thing, and I didn't feel that way either.
That is Piku Niku. It is out on Switch and Steam, I believe. I think it's like $12 or $15, something like that. Really, honestly, fun game.
Yeah.
Short, really short.
I beat it in like 3 hours.
3 or 4 hours, yeah. But it was fun. It was enjoyable. Like I said, I haven't quite beaten it. I'm at the very end, but
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty,
there's
pretty solid in my thoughts. I think.
There's certain dialogues in it that I really enjoy, but I was hoping that it would be, but it was good. I can't really say anything bad about it.
Cool. Dan, give me another one of yours.
All right, I do want to just say, because I looked it up when I was trying to figure out that boss. For all you that played the DLC, Ludwig the Holy Blade is the guy. He's like this
Ludwig.
horse. He's like this horse, pig, human guy.
Man, bear, pig.
And it's absolutely terrifying and crazy. And he's the first boss. And he has like a sword at one point, and you get his Holy Blade. And
Mhm.
that was really tough. Anyway, I just had to. That's his name, Ludwig. I just wanted to give Ludwig some props. I've been playing Let's Go Pikachu.
Oh, nice.
Really?
Yeah, it came out last year.
I heard it's so good.
It's amazing, and
Yeah.
it's so when we talk about in the vein of like remakes. It's a remake of Pokemon Gold. It's
Mhm.
the original game, but it's done 3D.
Is it no? It's
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yellow, like
Blue-
blue and red, right?
I'm sorry. Yes,
It's blue, red,
Yeah, yeah.
but
It's
then
blue and red, but you have Pikachu.
Yeah,
Pikachu was
So-
the yellow one. Yeah.
It was yellow, but I think gold.
There's
is
an
there,
Eevee.
Is there Pokemon Gold?
Yeah, that's the one right after. Gold and silver.
Yeah.
Pokemon.
It's red and blue.
Yellow.
It's the original.
I apologize.
Yellow,
The
yeah.
original game, Lavender Town.
Yeah.
It's still as
Yeah.
creepy as ever.
And then the Eevee one is the same thing, right?
Yes,
Yes,
but you have
yeah.
Eevee. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
It's it's so good, and really, it's my sister's game. Actually, I got it for her birthday, and we've just been loving the heck out of it. We've been playing it.
Classic. Buy it for someone else so you can play.
Well, that's the thing. I wasn't that interested in it, and my sister was just playing it. I just watched her, and then we just I just
Yeah.
fell in love with it too. And yeah, I mean, there's not really much to say about it. It follows the same sort of path in the story. Same town, same gym leaders. You got Surge and Brock, and you're fighting the same things, but it's good. And what I do like about this game more than the original games is there's no like random encounters. You can
Mhm.
pick.
You see the
You see the
actual Pokemon.
you see the Pokemon, and you can go
Oh.
over to them and try to catch them.
Oh, I like that.
The thing that's weird is the catching is Pokemon Go style, right?
Well, right. There's no. There's no.
Oh, you got to
battles
fling a
for it.
Pokeball at them?
That's
Yeah.
it. And if they stay, they stay. If they don't, they don't.
Can you miss?
You can miss. Yeah. Sometimes some of them are harder, so it's like time. So like you
Or
gotta
are they
like
swinging back
flick
and
the
forth?
remote. Yeah, you gotta flick the remote at the right angle or at the right time, sort of thing. So yeah, it's like Pokemon Go. But I do like how it's not like random encounters.
Mhm.
No,
Like
that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
some of the things you need to get a specific Pokemon or whatever, and you can just go find them. And
Is it? Do you see the actual Pokemon that you'd be fighting?
You do
Yeah.
Oh, you do.
Yeah,
so
yeah, you
like,
do. So, like, you could be,
if
like,
you're
in a-
searching for that.
exactly.
Like
Particular
certain one,
one,
like
yeah.
when you what was it, Abra or Kadabra or
Right.
whatever, when you're searching for that little dick in the woods. Yeah, him.
But exactly, like you'll see them, so you can go over to them, and if there's a Pokemon that you don't, you can maneuver yourself.
Yeah.
I like that. I think that it makes it more, it's not as aggravating or as.
Is Magikarp still useless?
Come on, you gotta give
Yeah, it's
Magikarp some love.
Gyarados, man.
Come
you gotta
on,
get Magikarp.
Yeah, it's a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. You gotta.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Even
but you
Even though
gotta
there
wait and
actually
have a-
is a Caterpie turning
Oh yeah,
into
Caterpie.
a
That's Butterfree. Yeah. But it's good.
You gotta have like 50 candies on you to get there, though.
But it's good. I really, I enjoy it. I think it was, I don't know where.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
Where,
like the way the battles look.
thinking about game of the year last year. I don't know where it would have fallen on my list playing
Mhm.
it now, but yeah, I'm
But it's good.
really enjoying it. Really
Cool.
good.
Dan, I know you and I played something
Oh yes,
that I'm
please.
sure we have to talk about. I know Shelby wanted to, but he didn't get around to it. The Anthem demo.
How'd you know? You've been
I
stalking me?
spying on you, yeah.
You've been watching me?
We were playing it at the same time, that's why.
We should have played together.
I know. I think you logged off like after I played for 20 minutes or something.
Oh, okay.
But we played the Anthem demo.
We played the Anthem demo.
And I have some thoughts. I'm sure you
too.
have some thoughts. So, number one, right off the bat, there is little to no story in this demo.
Mhm.
Whether that's indicative of the final game, which it might be, I don't know. I cannot say that for certain. We have only played the demo. Did you play up to level 12 when you get the second javelin?
Yes.
So you got
yes.
to try 2 different
Mhm.
ones. Okay.
And I did the 3 quests they gave
Yeah.
you for Matthias, I think.
Right.
his
Is
name
it a
was.
long demo? Did you play? the
Well,
whole
you
thing?
can play it as much as you want, but it's just 3 missions and then like a mini raid basically.
Oh, okay.
But you can replay them as much
Over
as
and
you want or
over.
whatever.
You can
Yeah.
just, yeah.
Um,
Or you can just go out into the world and.
Unlike the Resident Evil demo that cut you off after 30
Right.
minutes.
Yeah.
So my first impression is that it is striking how much this is Destiny. It is Destiny. I fucking knew it, but I didn't want to know it because I was like, please be something more than just Destiny. And it's just Destiny.
And that's a shame because they keep pitching it like, well, no, we're not Destiny.
I know.
And
I
it's
know.
everything
That's the problem.
about
this is
it.
set up for people to be upset.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Everything about it.
So what I will say is I took a few notes on it, but I really, really, so it's beautiful. I love the art design.
Yeah.
I love the design of the enemies. I love the design of the javelins. It looks really good when you do that like mini missile salvo, your
man,
ultimate.
yeah.
It looks so cool. I actually enjoy the combat. I think it's fun. I think flying around is really cool.
That's my favorite. I think the hovering and I think the coolest is like when you can just like keep yourself hovering and then just like shoot things. Like
were you the?
I started as the yellow one.
We all start as the same one, but the second one you get,
Mm-hmm.
which one did you choose?
Which was the pink one? Which whatever the.
Well, what was your abilities?
I could fly. I could shoot.
Dan, there were different abilities. Were you a big brute?
No.
Were you a small guy with a sword?
Oh yes, I was a smaller person.
Did you have a sword?
I didn't have a sword.
Dan, there are 4 different classes is what I'm asking you. So the one that you had, did it shoot ice from his hands and then lightning?
No.
The second one you played.
Second one I played.
So were you a melee focused guy?
No, I was a shooter.
All right. Here's what I'm going to say, everyone out there. There's 4 different classes. Everyone starts as the same one where you have a grenade, a missile, and then your ultimate is like a micro missile salvo that shoots a bunch of targets. Then you have your choice from a tank, which is like a big beefy guy that wants to get in the front line. There's this guy that's basically like Genji from Overwatch where he like has a sword and he like runs in and just does a bunch of melee stuff. And then there's one that's like a spellcaster that shoots. If you hit R, like you basically have an R1 ability, an L1 ability, and then a regular shoot ability. The spellcaster has rapid fire like frost that will freeze enemies in place. And then your L1 is a big lightning strike. So it's like an AoE lightning strike.
So you can freeze them and then
Explode them. Or freeze them and then someone throws a grenade at them. And it numbers pop out as you're shooting them like these games do. And it'll say combo when you do like when different people's abilities come together and stuff. It's pretty neat.
Is teamwork a big aspect?
Yes, totally.
I love that.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm a big fan of it.
It's cool.
Did you play with AI as your
So no, they
teammates, or-
always partner you with random people
Okay.
if you don't have a full party. So I was playing with my buddy Ozzy, and
Can you set that up though? Can you like say like, hey, I want to play with this person and like figure that out?
yeah,
He was playing with his buddy Ozzy.
yeah.
How do you do that though?
It's in the menu before you launch. You can like there's like 4 slots and you can just hit X on it and invite.
Oh, nice.
But so I'm very curious who your second javelin was.
Apparently, I have no idea what I'm talking about. So
All that I'm asking is
Fantastic.
like it's possible that maybe you just stuck with the first guy the whole time. Like your abilities didn't change.
I got to level 12 and then I had a different colored suit.
Yeah. Okay.
Interesting.
Well, what I'm saying is they all have different abilities. So
Right. So I
think
was
you would
able.
have known.
I was able to do the same thing that I did the first time, but just a different color.
Here's the thing.
So did you choose the
Dan-
same javelin twice?
Dan was playing Destiny 2.
I'm pretty sure you picked the same javelin when they gave you the because what they do is you unlock level 12
Yeah.
and then they show you all 4 of them.
I picked the pink one.
Dan, they all are the same color. You customize the color of them.
Oh, maybe
I don't
that's
know
I
what
did.
color you're started as,
That's
I started as
amazing.
yellow.
It's amazing.
but anyway, my basic. I had wished that you had played a different class to see the variety of combat.
I mean, I can go back and play it today.
I don't know
Now-
if you can actually.
Oh,
Did
really?
you
I don't know when it ends.
today?
Oh,
Today's the
Okay.
3rd, right? It's February 1st through 3rd.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get on it. Did you play over and over to play each class?
You can only play 2 in the demo.
Oh, can you restart the demo and choose a different
I
one?
don't think so.
No? All right.
Wait, so since I apparently picked the same one, can I
think
not
you're
change
screwed.
it anymore?
Yeah, that's screwed.
I know you were saying like the attributes of each one, so I didn't
Yeah.
know if you had played through and rechosen.
I just looked through when they give you the option. I looked through all of them and looked at what they were and stuff. I played as
then
a
obviously
spellcaster.
when you're playing, you could see what the other ones are doing. I guess,
Yes,
right?
Ideally,
Yeah.
but when you get matched randomly with people, like it was me as the spellcaster, Ozzy picked the sword guy, and then there were 2 guys that were also spellcasters that got matched with us.
okay,
So
right.
you don't necessarily
So it
get
works out
matched with
well.
other people that are different. But what I'll say is I really, really enjoy the combat. It's nothing special though. I cannot. The only thing that's special about this game is that you feel like that guy on the wall, Iron Man. Like that's what you feel like. You fly around. It's cool. The way you can like hover and shoot while you're hovering, and then keep flying, and it's really fucking fun. But it's just nothing. The thing that differentiates it from Destiny for me is that it is much more customizable. Whenever you finish a mission, you get different items that literally change what your abilities are. So instead of ice shards, after I beat that mission, I got a one big ice blast.
Okay.
So it's like a totally different ability.
Okay.
And then I got chain lightning. It's more like my gripe always with Destiny was, it's not that I hate those kind of games. I love Borderlands. I love Diablo because they're so varied.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? If you're not going to have the story that I'm interested in, then make
it interesting.
Make it interesting in another way.
Mhm.
And Destiny for me was excellent shooting mechanics and nothing else.
Mhm.
Sure, there were different classes, but each class was the same. Of course, you can get different weapons, but the class abilities, like, yes, you can. They have different subclasses and stuff, but it's not like you're customizing your guy. If you're this specific class and subclass, everyone is like that. This game totally gives you different abilities, which I'm not sure yet, because I came off of this game being like, I had a lot of fun, but goddamn, that was like Destiny. So I'm on the fence about like what I saw with those little customization things. So not only are you customizing your mech to look how you want, which is really fucking cool, like the different paint jobs you can do.
Yeah, you can get pink and
You
keep
get-
the same character.
You get different parts that you can like different arm looking
Attachments and
things.
stuff like that.
Just like you can change the look, and then like I said, you also get different abilities that change entirely how you're playing, and that might be enough if there's enough of them.
I think that's enough for the general audience that they're looking at.
No matter what,
Yeah.
what they have right now.
Well, people are gonna
if
love
you
this
like
game.
those kind of games, you will love this game.
Yeah.
That's what I want to emphasize. I have not played this and said, I don't know who this is for. Like I know exactly who this is for, and they're gonna love it. Like I have no doubt.
They're gonna eat it up for sure.
But the things that I was hoping for were not in here.
Mhm.
And like I said, I will wait and see what people think about it as far as the level of customization. Because if there is enough where it feels like more of a loot game, like a Diablo, where it's like, wow, look at this crazy ability I got. You know, I like when it's paired with this other ability, because you get 2 main ones, and then you get a third one, which is usually defensive, which is L1 and R1 at the same time. Like my spellcaster would put up a huge wall that blocks projectiles incoming for a certain amount of time. And you get different of those. That's what I'm saying. So if you have 3 ability slots and you can swap between them, that might be enough variety to make it interesting, where you're like, I like how this pairs with that. Because the combat does feel fun. I like the way the shooting feels. I like the way your abilities feel. It's very, like, tactile. Like, when you're that first guy and you shoot that, like, wrist rocket out and it swirls and hits them, like, it feels really good. You know what I mean? Like, they're doing something here that is interesting. It's just a matter of, is there enough variety to keep me going in it? Or, because if it comes out and it's not what I'm looking for, then I'm just going to wait for when the first expansion comes out and they have a special price on it or something. You know what I mean? Like, I will play this game, but that demo did not sell me on, oh, I really need to play this.
It didn't.
So I guess what we're kind of hoping on is they're hiding a good story or something as well.
Well, even that
'Cause
too.
That would be
BioWare's
treat.
known for that.
Yeah.
But like, even when I'm reading about what they're saying about like the story is like, oh well, you know, it's in this main hub world and you can interact with characters and like.
Oh, how weird is that hub world?
Yeah.
It switches you to first person, and you move really slow. And
Well, you can't really talk to any of the
Isn't
characters.
that like
'cause
the
it-
opposite of what Destiny was? Weren't you
Yes.
like third
Yes.
person in
Yes.
the hub
It's
world?
so
and then
weird.
First person.
Yeah.
It's so
And you
weird.
can't really talk to many of the characters because it says like, oh, purchase the full game.
It's a
to,
demo.
like, right. But even then, I don't know, the way that they're selling it, like, well, no, we got story and, you can talk to different
Intertwined.
characters. Characters are interesting. And even the guy who, no offense to Matthias, who they're like trying to like
pitch as one of their
pitch as like, oh
characters.
my gosh, like, oh look, he's, this is going to be one of the big guys.
Yeah.
Even he's not that like
No.
interesting. And
It-
I have bad feelings about it, honestly. I think they're setting up, but for me personally, for disappointment. And like you said, I really like Borderlands. I'm not against these sort of games,
Yeah.
but
Sell it as what it is.
yeah. And I think people are gonna love it. People that love Destiny will probably
Definitely,
say that this
yeah.
is just, but it just
The only other thing I want to say is that hub world. I forget what they call it.
Tarsus, I think.
Fort Tarsus. So when you're there, it feels really weird. It feels like old game design, not new game design, where characters are just like sitting with their arms crossed, like waiting for you to walk up to them and talk to them. It doesn't feel like a
It's in a
world.
city, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't do that nowadays. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
games have gotten too good at making living worlds.
Mhm.
Like Red Dead 2 did that very well.
Yeah, well, most of these games, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're up against a really high bar, and if you're going to come in and make a theme park, you know what I mean? I don't know if that flies. So we'll see. I'm definitely curious once. This is also a game that is very frustrating about the amount of release dates it has. If you pre-ordered the special edition,
got it,
it comes
yeah.
out the 15th. If you bought the other edition, it comes out the following Tuesday. If you buy it regular, it comes out the 22nd, a week later.
All February.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
sucks.
weird.
That does suck.
But anyway,
We
that
were
was
talking
the
about
Anthem
that with
demo.
we were talking about that with Assassin's Creed, weren't we?
Yeah.
You like buy the special one, you get to play early.
And
like that's-
Shadow of the Tomb Raider did the same thing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crap.
It's annoying. But apparently it's working, so
Yeah.
not happy with all you people out there that are buying those.
Well,
big
it's getting the
editions.
people to buy it for $100 instead of
Yeah, that
so
sucks
60,
though. Why
you
don't
know,
they
like,
just
it's
wait and buy it
terrible.
for 60 so we
Yeah.
can all
Yeah.
have a better ecosystem? All right, that was the Anthem demo. I think me and Dan are both pretty lukewarm on it.
Apparently, I didn't play as the other Javelin. Maybe I would have loved it.
I wish you would have, because it really feels.
I wish you would have played it the way you're supposed to, Daniel.
But it really makes the combat totally different. Like it really changes what the game feels like in a major way, which is interesting. Again, if you're not there for the combat anyway, then
Well, I kind of getting into it. I wasn't expecting as much as it was BioWare, and I was hoping for. I kind of already knew from the beginning. From
Yeah,
what
you
I
saw the
was
writing
reading,
on
like,
the
I was
wall,
like,
yeah.
it's not going to be some sort of space opera. But even then, like, I don't know. It was fun. It was enjoyable. I think some of like the one part where the second mission we have to fight the elite.
yeah,
Thing,
Those
that was
big
like,
guys you're
man,
talking
that was
Yeah.
tough as heck, man. That was
Yeah.
rough, and it got to a point where it was just annoying because I guess I wasn't good enough, and I kept dying, and I
the
kept
people you were playing with were struggling too, I guess.
yeah, we were all just having a rough time.
Is it like half and half through the demo with the javelins? Like, do you get it like the second one like halfway through, or do you get to play?
It's
with
like
the
at the
second?
end.
There's like a 5.
So you like don't play with it as
You
long
could-
as the first one.
So the way that it works is
You level up 5 levels or something. Or?
so you can get to level 15 in
Mhm.
the demo. You get from 10 to 15.
And 12 is where you get the
12
second
is
one.
where you get the second
Alright.
one. But to get to level 12, you have to complete all the missions pretty much.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. It looks really good. I really like the style of it. I enjoyed the combat. I thought it was fun.
Mhm.
But
I felt the same way with Destiny 2, though. Like
That's what I'm saying,
I enjoyed like it was beautiful to look at, and the combat was fun, but at the same time,
But you know what would have been nice about Destiny 2 is if I bought it for $25 and played it with my friends and had a good time.
Yeah.
Because instead I bought it for 60 and I was like, I really am not like, it's more just like a mindless, I'm having fun playing it. I'm not thinking about anything. That's not how I like to play games personally.
I
So.
think I'm gonna I'm kind of like you guys are saying, feeling lukewarm after the demo.
Yeah.
I'm feeling lukewarm going into purchase. I have a $30 gift card. I might just get the game half off.
Right.
Yeah.
Not that it's half off because I'm spending $30
Yeah.
on it still, but at least I didn't spend that $30.
Right.
But yeah, so that's how I'm feeling about it too. I definitely want to play it, but
I would say definitely play the demo.
Yeah.
I think you would like it though. Honestly,
I definitely want to give it a try.
yeah, it's enjoyable. It's not a
Yeah.
It just may not be what
I was kind of hoping
it
it would feel a little bit like Titanfall too, you know. But whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I got to play the demo to find out.
you gotta play the demo. All right, Dan, give me another game you've been playing, bud.
All right, actually, I just want to. I'll say, I know it's me and Shelby, one of me and Shelby's favorite games, but at the time of our
Don't rope me into this.
Oh, I'm gonna.
I think you want to.
I don't know what game you're talking about.
I'm gonna.
Ni no Kuni 2.
Yeah,
Oh,
I beat it. I finally beat it. No, I finally.
Did you?
Finally beat it.
Nice.
By the time we were doing Game of the Year, I was on the last chapter. Me and my sister just
Did
grinded
you like
through
the
it.
ending?
Yeah, honestly, I gotta say the ending, like,
It's good, right?
I loved it. Like, it
Yeah.
actually.
I still haven't gotten to it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's good. The only thing I hated about
Can we spoil? Can we
Did-
spoil? Oh, not
it's
for
all-
Dan. I
yeah.
don't want to spoil.
Oh, it's fine.
No.
Spoiler
I
alert.
wasn't going to spoil anything. The only thing because I don't remember exactly everything, but I remember having to do a skirmish.
Yes.
In the end.
Yes.
That I hated, but other than that, the ending was
The
great.
fight with Dollar and then the
Oh,
fight with
it's so
the
good.
big devil man looking
Yep.
thing. Like, oh my gosh,
good.
it was awesome. And then what I really loved is you got the end cutscene, right? And we kind of already knew what was gonna happen. Spoilers, Evan and Roland have to part ways,
Yeah.
and you think that like the game's over, and then there's another scene, and then you're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Is it over? You get the credits, and then you get another scene, and it just ties it all together, puts the ribbon on it, puts the icing on the cake.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
It was like hands down, like the way I think they ended it was perfect,
Yeah.
and I loved it so much.
And I did say I
Nice.
think they just had another DLC come out for it.
Did
like
they?
Like
Oh,
a
wow.
layer of the I don't know. It had a stupid name.
Lair of the Shadow Broker.
Was that it? No.
It's Mass Effect.
Oh. No, it's a layer of something. I saw it on PSN.
But it was awesome. I really,
Cool.
really like, and honestly, it solidifies my idea. I like this one better than the first one, believe it or not.
Nice.
It's a great game.
Very cool.
So yeah, so.
So I have one more game that just came out, but I'd like to hear another game from you before
Oh
we do that.
yeah, okay. So a while ago, I haven't played this in it's been over a month since we've seen each other. Psychonauts is a game. I
Oh,
know
you
guys
played?
like. Yeah,
Oh.
I know you guys are a big fan of it.
Nice.
I really like Tim Schafer, like Day of the Tentacle and Grim Fandango and games like that. So this was awesome. It was on the.
Did you beat it?
I beat it. Yeah.
Nice.
It was on. I played it on PS4. It was like for $2. I think it was like there's like some sort of
Wow,
sale
Jesus, steal.
or something like that. I love it, and playing it now. When did the game come out? 2002 or something
it's
like
old.
that.
2002, yeah.
It doesn't.
2003.
It doesn't hold up as well as like.
No, but it's quirky and it's.
But that's what I
fun and
love.
it's,
Is like
you
all
know,
the characters, the worlds, the heads that you go into,
The
like the
milkman.
story. But yeah, the story behind it, like all that stuff was absolutely incredible. And I loved it very much. The reason why I got it is I know the second one is coming out for this year. So I wanted to play the first one and get
And
it.
you liked it?
I loved it because I just love Tim Schafer's writing.
It's a great story,
It's
yeah.
zany and weird, and
It's cool.
all the characters and everything is just very cool. And all the
Cool.
references to like pop culture and stuff, I think are really, really
Nice.
charming. And yeah,
Awesome.
Psychonauts. I really don't have
Cool.
much more to say than other just I really
I
enjoyed
mean,
it. It was a lot of
It's just
fun.
one of those. Go back and play it if you
Yeah.
haven't played it. Go
Right.
back and play
It was
it.
a lot of fun,
Definitely.
and the characters are great and
Cool.
weird, and like a very you know what it reminds me of? It's a very old Nickelodeon kind of
Yeah,
like that
totally.
sort of
Oh,
like
yeah,
totally.
Rock Was Smart on Life, Cat Dog sort of
Absolutely.
like just like really
That's totally the aesthetic they were going
weird
for,
like
yeah.
So it was good.
Cool. Shelby, got another game for me?
I haven't played another game. There's one game. I don't know if you guys have played this. Have you seen Vane on
Yes.
the PlayStation Network?
So,
Or
Oh, how's it?
I-
Yeah.
I remember it being talked about as like an interesting thing, and then the reviews came out, and it looked rough.
Oh, the reviews are rough.
Yeah.
I just, you know what? I
It's
watched.
getting like solid 5s all across the
I
board.
watched a trailer and I was like, "This looks cool." You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
It's somebody who worked on Last Guardian or something like that, or
Something
one of
like
the
that, yeah.
developers
Hey, it looks like
work
it.
for Team Eco.
I just saw like you could turn into a crow or something like
Yeah.
that, and back and forth and doing that, and it looks like this
Yeah.
almost Journey-esque desert aesthetic, and it looks really cool. But oh man, I'm sad
I
to hear
know.
that. It has some bad
the
reviews.
problem is I had looked at it and been like, oh, it's interesting, and I was never really going to play it, but I was just off put by the reviews anyway. That's one of those games where if it came out and people were talking really highly of it, maybe I would have checked it out, but it looks like it's
All right, well now
Yeah, I
I
heard
know.
like the gameplay and the.
I didn't want to play it
It's a lot of
because I
bugs.
didn't feel like spending $25 on it right now, and
Mhm.
I was like, I'll get back to it.
yeah.
I had other stuff going on. I was gonna wait till it like chopped half in price,
Right.
and then all right, well, no, that's a bummer.
Sorry, Shel. Dan, you got a bunch more, or you only have
I
a
got
couple
one
left?
more,
All right, I want to hear it.
and it's the Piece de Resistance.
Oh, let's hear it.
I'm playing Hollow Knight. Oh man.
What do you think?
It's so. This is it. It is the best Super Metroid game. I mean, Metroid.
Vania.
Rewind. It's the best Metroidvania game that isn't a Metroid or Castlevania game.
Agreed.
Hands down.
Agreed.
It's so good. It's fantastic.
How deep in are you?
About maybe like 12 hours in.
What worlds have you been to? What areas have you been
Dan
to?
has been grinding.
Dan had a nice break.
Right? Yeah.
12 hours
I
into this,
know,
50
right?
hours of Super Mario Party, Bloodborne 2 new game, beat Nino Kuni.
He played the whole new game plus.
I know. So, past the City of Tears, just did like the waterways with those freaking weird maggot guys that run at you.
Met the dung beetle?
He's my favorite boss.
He's
my
best.
favorite boss because I love him even more like afterward.
Yeah.
Like, so,
isn't that game just like perfect?
the
though?
characters
it is
and everything,
so well
it's just incredible. And it's huge. And there's more to it, I'm told.
So
I just got
just
to the
explain.
area.
All you got to do is just name areas that you've been to because you can go to them in a lot of different orders.
Oh, okay. So I've been to the area where it's all like floral and green, where you met Hornet, I think her name is.
Yep. You did that fight, right?
Yes. Then there's there's like the mountain cliff tops. I've been to King Station, Queen Station.
Yeah.
The area where there's like mushrooms. I forget what that is.
Mushroom
Fungal wastes.
Fungal
wastes. Then there's the last area I got to is this like very like sepia tone-ish area, and it's getting a little tough. There's like spiders and stuff.
Deep Nest?
Maybe that's what. No, I don't think it's Deep Nest.
Do they change the color? Because I know it's like a dark blue.
Oh, they're all all the different areas
It's
are
very distinct.
are
have
distinct
different-
colors.
So there's this one area where there's like jellyfish, and it's like very pink and like very
cool,
vibrant,
cool.
and then you get to
Yeah.
an area where it's very blue and striking.
Did you play on Switch?
I got it on Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have it on Switch, and I played the first like 10 minutes, and then I had to do something, and I want to go back to
Shelby,
it. But here's the thing: I want to go back to it and know that I'm going to sit and play only this game. So that's why.
that's
why
it's
I held off
immersive.
for a second.
It's a full on. And if you love, if you've ever played like a Metroid or Castlevania,
the first 10 minutes or 5 minutes that I played, loved it. I thought it was super cool.
So, what are your feelings on the map system?
Oh, I think it's great. I think what I like about
It's so divisive, just so you know.
Okay. What I like about it, it can be a pain in the butt because, so for those of you that don't know.
What I like about it, it can be a pain in the butt.
For those of you that don't know, though, like the way you get a map is you meet this guy, Calcifer? No, that's from Howl's Moving Castle.
It's close. I'm not going to remember.
Anyway, he's like a map maker.
Conifer? No.
Yeah, no, maybe. He's a map maker. So you don't have a map for an area until you meet up with him and buy a map off of him. And at the same time, it won't show you where you've been until you get to a rest bench, so you can rest and save and fill in where you've been on a map.
Yeah, the benches are basically bonfires from Dark Souls. That's your saving point. When you die, you'll respawn at the last bench you went to. And whenever you sit, your little guy takes out and draws the map of where he's been.
Yeah.
And then it fills in where you've been.
But I like that too, because you can
cool.
also go to the map maker's wife. I forget her name, but she just always goes Papanada, and and you can buy you can buy like a charm that will this will show you where you are. This will show you where there's these like stagway stations that you can kind of fast travel between places. It'll show you a marker.
Yeah, you're basically buying the ability to have things be marked on your map as you pass them.
Yes.
And it is just so... Talk about good game design.
The game design's amazing. The aesthetic,
Unbelievable.
and it reminds me very much, and I know I probably shouldn't keep comparing everything to Bloodborne and Dark Souls, but the idea of like...
Well, this game, I mean...
But like the environmental storytelling, where it's so interesting, you're not given anything. You're not given any... You're barely given any story. All it is these characters and these worlds and these really cryptic notes and environments. And it reminds me of, Dark Souls or Bloodborne, where...
It's like bug gothic.
Yeah.
It is.
You're thrown into this world and you're like, something terrible happened. I don't know what happened. And nobody's going to tell you what happened.
Yep.
And you just kind of got to like piece it together, and each level is just so unique and interesting. The gameplay is great. The bosses are unique and awesome. I love the Dung Beetle. He's actually my favorite.
There is... and
The Dung Master, whatever his name is.
Yeah, there...
That's a great name.
And I don't... I know sometimes I might speak in hyperbole, but there is... Like, this game... The reason this game is literally like a top 5 all time for me is because There is
that high?
not
Wow.
there is not one thing that I would critique. Like, this is as close to a perfect game that I would ever have found. Everything from the secrets, the way the map is, the art, the characters, the music, the fact that they have the little like Animal Crossing like noises when they talk, like do, 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 you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's just everything about this game. It goes from charming to horrifying to like intriguing mysteries, like scary at times. That's why I'm saying this, like, to me, Hollow Knight is a perfect video game. Like, I
10 out
would
of
not
10?
change anything about that game. I love.
And you beat it all the way
love
through?
that game. Yeah.
How many hours did you get put into it?
First, when I just played through the normal playthrough, it was 22 or 25,
Okay.
something like that.
I still probably got a lot to go.
Yeah. The big door with like that you came across near the beginning with the different
The big egg.
Yeah, the egg
black
that has the heart, or it has like different symbols on it. You haven't filled any of them in, right?
I haven't filled any of them in.
Yeah, those are the three major. They're basically like the great ones. They're like the major bosses that you need to take down to open up the egg.
And then once you open up the egg,
And then you'll see what's inside.
It's a bird.
But it's just so cool the way that, like, they're all bugs. And they're all so distinct and
Yeah.
such, like,
Unique.
individual characters. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, the characters are great.
The
it's
Hollow
just-
Knight well, I don't know if he has a name, your main
yeah,
character.
he's the Hollow Knight.
He's the Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
Is that like an exoskeleton head or something? Like, what? Because
Yeah,
it's like
when
a white.
So when you die,
Yeah.
that gets left behind.
Oh.
Like, it falls to the ground, and
So
then
it's
your
supposed to
body
be
is
like
gone.
a
So,
mask or something.
yeah, it's a mask. They call you the masked one all the time, right?
It's so good, yeah.
Oh,
But
alright.
there's other people, like, what I like, it's again, like Bloodborne, you're not the only one. There's other people doing what, like, you're doing.
Like, exploring, and
Oh, really?
like, you don't see them actively doing it, but you find
You come
them
across
in
them.
various, like,
this guy Zope the Mighty,
scenarios.
he's like this super arrogant, but
Yeah.
like he's like a wimp. He doesn't.
he's terrible, but
he's like-
every time you find him, he's like, "Why would you do that? I had it under control."
yeah,
He always
first
gets
time you
mad.
meet him, he's like in the clenches of some bird-like thing.
Getting
And then you
rid
gotta
of- yeah.
save him, and he's just like, I had this taken care of, you know.
It is. I'm so glad you're playing
It's
it.
amazing.
Because I
man.
knew it was up your alley, but it is like, that's one of those games that I will evangelize, like, because it is like, I love it so much that it's like,
it's perfect.
it's such an amazing
It's
game.
perfect.
I can't wait to play it.
Last I got to was the area where it's very like gray and like black and white area. There's
I think you're on your way to Deep Nest. Is it in the western area? Do you know?
you can connect.
Is it
from,
west of Green Path?
You can connect from City of Tears,
Yeah.
and then when you go down, there's nothing but spikes.
Oh, okay.
It's like
Yes.
kind
That's not Deep Nest.
gray.
I know where that is. I forgot the name of that, but
And last thing, I stopped because I met the banker lady, and I'm just gonna end with that. I don't want to spoil.
you met the banker lady for the
Well,
first time?
No,
or
no,
you-
no. I
so
gave
you saw
her,
what happened.
I gave her all my money.
But did you see what happened?
Yeah.
You can say that.
Oh, okay, she took my money. She ran away. She's not there anymore.
Yeah, we can say, sorry for spoiling, but it's a really cool moment, and I like to talk about it. So there's a woman that's like a banker, and the problem is in this game, a lot like Dark Souls, it's like if you don't use your stuff, your what are they called?
Geo.
If you don't use your geo,
it's
which
cash.
is like your upgrading and your cash to buy things, if you don't use it, you die. You have to go back to where you were, retrieve it, and then you get it back.
Or if you die on the
Okay.
way there,
Similar to Below, where you
Yeah,
have to go
sure.
and get your stuff. Yeah.
But there's a banker that comes. You find this banker like late in the game, and she's like,
oh, I'll hold on to
she's
it
like,
for you.
"Oh, hold on to all your stuff," and you give her stuff. And when you hit a certain threshold of how much you give her, she takes off with your money.
Wow.
I
And
gave her a lot of stuff.
so there is a way to find her again and
Can you
get
get-
redemption.
Can you get the money back?
Yeah, we'll see if you find her though. She's tough to find. This game, I'm telling you, there are so many secrets and there are so many optional bosses in this game. Like, it is just, it is.
I'm really focusing on
such a
trying to
great
save
game.
the little caterpillars in the cages.
Oh yeah, love that. Those little, yeah. Oh, what a game.
It really is amazing. I hear something weird happen. I mean, I don't know, but I hear something weird happens with the head guy, who, like, when you go, so you can save the caterpillars and then you go to like the main hub where, like, when they're saved, they go home and there's like this older.
Yeah, the older guy.
Yeah, I hear something weird happens when you save them all. He does something.
You'll have to find out.
Oh God, is it bad?
We'll see. All right. So that was Hollow
Hollow
Knight.
Knight, I love it.
Hollow Knight is now out on pretty much everything.
Like, seriously, play it.
Really play it.
This was what, 2017 it came out?
16.
Oh, that early.
Oh no, 17.
Then this would have been like.
That's why I said this.
Was it
Breath
on our
of the
Game
Wild.
of the Year that year?
No, I didn't
No,
play
we
it. I
didn't
played it
talk about it.
2018 when it came to
Oh.
Switch. Breath of the Wild, Nier Automata, and this game. Can you imagine? Those are 3 of my favorite
That's
games
crazy.
ever.
Yeah, Night of the Woods, Wolfenstein. Man, 2017 was great.
Yeah,
year.
pretty good. Remember when we said it was the best year of the last 10
I
years?
think I agree with that.
Um, last game I'm going to talk about. It's a new game. Just came out actually this past Friday, February 1st.
Okay.
It's a game called Wargroove.
Oh, I've heard so much about this.
It's a good game, guys. Wargroove is... Have you ever played Advance Wars?
No, but I know the Advance Wars.
I've seen Advance Wars, and that made me watch Wargroove, and I know what you're talking about.
So the people that made Wargroove are obsessed with Advance Wars, no doubt, because this is very similar. But it does some things to differentiate itself in a really smart way, and I think that this is just an impeccable game. So it has a story mode. So you play Fire Emblem, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's similar to Fire Emblem, except so Advance Wars and Fire Emblem were always like very similar, but they have their differences. Main difference is your attack damage is based on how much HP you have left. So if you have half health, you do half damage.
Okay.
That you normally do, right? So that was Advance Wars. That was really what differentiated Advance Wars from Fire Emblem. Also, the terrain matters. So like there are mountain tiles, there are forest tiles, and they give you different defense, give you different eye line, like sight lines, stuff like that. So Wargroove is exactly like Advance Wars. It's a turn-based strategy game, but it is just so good on so many levels. Like the art is amazing. The sound design is really good. If you see these little animations of like the guys attacking and stuff, it is just so cool. But it's a lot like that. So in this game, Wargroove, you have barracks that you can once per turn you can spawn a unit from the barracks, and then they like wait a turn and then you can send them out. But it's literally you're clicking on a unit, you're telling them to go attack this unit, they clash. That's it. Then your next unit, you do the same thing. And it just does so many little smart things. And it's hard to explain exactly the differences, but it is just a really, really good turn-based one of these games.
What system is that?
So it's on Switch right now. I don't know what it's on, but I'm playing it on Switch. It was $20. I can't recommend this game enough. I'm a couple hours into the story mode. I know there are like branching paths in the story mode. The thing that's really cool, this game has an arcade mode, which is like unique maps that's like pitch you against another commander, because it has a commander system where the commanders have like unique abilities, and everyone else has like the same units. So each faction has a swordsman, a spearman, a dog unit, a flying unit, a tank unit. You know, each faction has the same units except for their leaders. What did I say they were? They're not called leaders. I said the word and now I can't remember it. It's not leaders. Commanders. So the commanders are specific units that have certain abilities that once you charge them up, you can use them, and that differentiates them in combat. But the arcade mode pits one commander against another, and then they clash.
Gotcha.
It also has online multiplayer and local multiplayer with 4 players.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
So you can set up your own like matches like me against you. Like it's really, really cool. It also has a complete, not only a map creator, but a campaign creator where you can actually write cutscenes and make animations and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So like a level design system. And
It's so cool.
That is cool.
So this game is well worth the $20. Again, I've only put in a couple hours, but I love this
Awesome,
game.
man.
It's called Wargroove.
Wargroove, cool.
I've heard good things. One thing I want to talk about, I think, was that the last game you had?
Yeah.
One thing I want to talk about, because I sent you guys this. What did you think of those Dreams
Oh,
levels?
man.
I know. The Dreams demo is going on right now, and it looks so cool.
So I sent them a video of some of the creator content that's been made in the Dreams demo so far, and it was so cool looking.
So cool, man.
Like, obviously, Zelda was one of the ones that people been harping
Kokiri
on
Forest.
a little bit,
Yeah.
you know,
But even just Cuphead,
so
like
cool.
having
Dead
like
Space
a 3D,
one.
Cuphead was
yeah.
cool. Dead Space. Oh, so
It looks
cool.
so cool.
It seems like in Dreams you can legit do anything.
You can do anything.
I'm so excited.
so excited
It's
for
crazy.
Dreams. I'm so excited.
The
for
only
Dreams.
problem though is I don't think I'm creative enough to like
Yeah, but you get to
think of
experience
something
everyone
that-
else's
Yeah,
creations.
that's true. Yeah,
that's the
that's
thing.
so
You get to play
exciting.
through them all.
Yeah.
I definitely want to try to make something, but I don't know if it'll. I'm not very.
Now, is
creative
that
either.
just is that the game? That's the game itself. Why did I feel like I read something about there's going to be like some sort of campaign?
There is.
Okay.
In the demo, they don't have it, but Media Molecule is making levels much like they did with Little Big Planet.
Yeah.
That are like you can play through the story and you're unlocking all your stuff to create with as you're doing that.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, I'm excited for
Did
Dreams.
they have a release date yet?
No, but it will come out this year. They said, and based on the demo, it looks like they're pretty far along. So
Yeah.
I would bet this spring.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane.
But guys, I think that's gonna do it. This was a jumbo episode, but I think it was a good one. We played a lot of games.
I don't know that school started. It's gonna be like, oh,
Yeah,
what'd you
it's-
play this week?
Back to reality.
game?
Played another hour of Hollow Knight.
I played Mario Party again.
Oh, please don't. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me, Dan.
Thank
as
you.
always.
No, thanks for having
Thanks
me.
for joining me, Shelb.
Oh,
Thank you, Shelby.
no problem.
And thank you guys out there for watching and listening. You can catch us in 2 weeks. Same time, same place. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching and or listening. Just here to remind you that you can find us by searching for Circle Back Podcast or Circle Back Gaming on any of these podcast services: Anchor, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, or Stitcher. By God, I'm out of breath because of all these podcast services, but you can find us anywhere there. Also, you can find us, our video version, on YouTube by searching Circle Back Podcast or Circle Back Gaming, and the rest of the videos we do. Thanks, guys.